Oh goodness. I mean, no, I mean, but you do have to have a vision because if you're only speaking it, you need to then you can't just stop again a record deal. You need to keep thinking bigger and bigger things. What was your expectation? Did you get to meet at that time Stevie and little and Diana
Yes,
Ross and
absolutely. And ironically, we were invited into their sessions, and they were. I met Ross in mine. Barry Gordy brought her to one of my sessions. I was working on a song one time, and that's how I met her. Stevie came into one of us. Stevie came in on our session. We were cutting "I Call Your Name." Me, Bobby had written, arranged, and produced it, and it was kind of in the late stages of it. And it's ironic, man, because we're listening to the mixes and stuff, and Stevie's in there with us, and he's loving it, and he heard something and we couldn't hear it. And he tried to point it out to us and we couldn't hear it. So we just kind of dismissed it as if, okay, that's one of them Stevie things. We just got to let that go. The record goes out on the street. We hear it on the radio and we're in the car, me and Bobby in the car. And we heard exactly what he was talking about. This was months later. We heard exactly what that was. It was kind of a frequency thing, but you
Wow.
could hear it. Stevie heard it first. We didn't know. So anyway, it was amazing. It was amazing, man.
How did you not become starstruck? I mean, we talked about the Jacksons, but seeing all these because or were you just focused on the business, what we need to do? Or how did you not just get overwhelmed by seeing these people that you grew up idolizing as a kid?
Well, ironically, I've never had an idol. I never idolized anybody. You know,
Okay.
I just saw them as I saw me, to tell you the truth. Now, I had people that I respected and people that I was in awe of their talents, but not to the point of becoming fanatical about it, but acknowledging they're just like me. And so, even around Stevie and Diana and some of these big name folks and the Jackson Five, I was humbled to be in their presence on one level, but not to the point of not thinking that I'm right there with them
Mm.
because they do what I do. They just had greater opportunities before I got there.
And is that probably what made them feel as if, that felt comfortable where you could relax because they didn't
I
see
would,
this?
I would think so, man. I think they saw me more as a peer than a fan. And it kind of worked. And we could communicate and articulate and, and deal on any subjects at that point. I think that I was welcomed in. Plus, I was part of the Motown family, so they welcomed us in on that one anyway. Like Rick James and I became tight over the years and things like that. That's a whole other story.
When you releasing the first album, did you note? Okay, well, let's talk about contracts then, because you've had the experience with Barry. How did you make sure this time around you weren't going to get played against and not be afraid of losing the opportunity if you didn't sign?
Because I got a recommendation from a few different people about this firm. The firm that handled Switch was called Cooper, Epstein, and Horowitz. And
Wow,
they were the Grammys law firm.
wow,
So, and I was able to get introduced to the young up and coming attorney who agreed to take our account. And he and I would sit down and spend time with those contracts.
wow.
I mean, any of the rest of the guys that wanted to participate could be involved. It was more so Jody and I that had voices in Switch, but I sat down with him because, like I told you, after Barry White, I learned how to read and write contracts.
Mm.
So Michael and I could have intelligent conversations about what's in this contract and what's not. For example, there's one big issue in the contract that was a deal break point for me. I was not going to let Motown own the name Switch. During that time frame, most record companies owned the names of the artists, whether it was black or white artists, it didn't matter. The record companies owned it. For example, if you remember when Prince became the artist formerly
Yeah,
known
yeah,
as,
yeah, yeah.
and that kind of thing, the record company owned his name. Well, I saw that in the contract and I was determined. I'm not giving them my name. I don't care. Now, keep in mind, I told you that Motown put us up in this hotel, so they're paying the bills and they're giving us a per diem every week. And we're still in negotiation. And I tell them, hell no, I'm not going to give you my name. So they shut off all communications at that point.
Wow.
So every day I'm sitting there waiting on the people from the front desk to tell me I got to get out because Motown ain't paying the bill. And I don't know where the hell I'm going or what I'm going to do because I got five other guys that are dependent on what we've got going now. And where we going to go? What we going to do? We all the way out here in California, don't have money to get home. After a little more than 2 weeks, Motown finally came back. My attorney came back and said Motown contacted them and said that, okay, we'll let you have your name, but you have to give us all the publishing.
Oh.
Well, at the time, I didn't know the value of the publishing either. And I didn't know that Bobby and I were going to wind up writing the majority of the albums and the majority of the hits. So, not that I rushed and said right away. I learned what I could, and I said, well, okay, I got to give up something. Here's another year in college I got to pay for. So I paid for it with the publishing. And so the truth of the matter is I've owned the name since.
Okay.
I got my name where a lot of artists did not. I even, like the Temptations, had to give up all future royalties to get their name back and things like that. So.
Wow. But that meant that any song you guys wrote, they owned it, or
they owned the publishing on it, and they were the ones to make the deal. For example, right now too, and I'm kind of running short on time.
Yeah, anyway,
but for example, right now, I don't know. Are you familiar with SZA? I know you know.
Yeah. Yes.
Are you familiar with her single with Kendrick?
Yes.
40?
Yes.
And so you're aware that that's "I Call Your Name"?
No, I didn't realize that they sampled that. No.
They sample "I Call Your Name." In fact, the whole intro is Bobby DeBarge speaking. Okay? They sample it. It's a hit. Over 100 million streams. It came out December 22nd. Bobby and I wrote it. Now, this record has been used quite a few times by quite a few artists, but never this big. When Rich Boy did it, I won't tell you the amount, but I made a few $100,000 when Rich Boy did it in 2006. Throw Some D's. This record has already surpassed Rich Boy's audience by, I dare say, by 5 or 6 times. So I'm expecting a hell of a payday from this record. You know, once it gets where it's going, I'm expecting a hell of a payday, from this record. But the thing of it is this: had I owned the publishing, I could probably do some things that would be ridiculous. But because Motown owned the publishing, they get their share, I get a share of it.
Okay, so that you didn't just give up the whole rights to the song. It's just
no, I didn't give up my writers. I get my writers. They just get the publishing on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that kind of.
And somewhere in between
us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay, you okay.
They don't understand what Jonas Boys and men all
Play it.
These guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.